Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Journey to Greatness. Day 30 of 365 with David McDonald, the GOAT. All right. All right. So to begin, we're going to get into our meditation routine. My AirPods are dead, so I have to use traditional headphones today. All right. I will see you all on the other side shortly. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Okay. So, as we said yesterday, we finished one of our books yesterday. Even though we're getting ready to go into our journaling routine, we're going to be starting a new book today. But we'll figure that out when we read, or after we finish journaling, see if it comes to us on which book we should consider reading. So let's get into our journaling routine, and I will see you all on the other side. Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay, we have two options here. This first option on the left is by Marianne Williamson, The Law of Divine Compensation. Or we have Mindset, The New Psychology of Success. The indexes on both of these, or excuse me, the table of contents on both of these are very, very good. But because my sister, Cami, gave me this book, I think we're going to get into this one. This one seems good. And I think the focus on this book is to just focus on love and living a life of love. And when you live from that standpoint at all times, you are able to um, find peace pretty much in everything that you do. But let's see if that's the case. Well, I know that's the case, but let's see if that's what the book is saying. Okay, so I will invite everyone to join me in the reading routine, and I will see you all on the other side. Larry Kendall. Fire. Uppercut. Whoa. All right. I hope you guys are ready because I think we chose the right book. Well, either way, we would have gotten to it anyways. Okay. Marianne Williamson, The Law of Divine Compensation. All right. Here we go. The preface. I'm going to build some context around this material. This is going to be a good book. It's going to be a quick read, but it'll be a good book nonetheless. So, Marianne builds this book of love off of a book called The Course in Miracles. And I think it might even be a program. And she's been teaching it. She's been in the industry for over 35 years as a teacher of these principles of the Course. The crux, Marianne continues, the author, right? The crux of the Course, which is not a religion and has no dogma or doctrine, is the relinquishment of fear and the acceptance of love into our hearts to replace it. I've seen miraculous transformations occur when we change the nature of our thinking from fear and limitation to faith and love. So what she's saying here is The course does not identify or does not focus on a certain dogma, doctrine, or religion. It and I've never read the Course in Miracles, but I can only imagine what she means by this is that it's not any of those things, but it is the inherent truth that lies within all of us that we are love. And when you connect with that, we are love, that pause. If you have fear and limitation, faith and love are the two elements that can replace that and give you ultimate abundance in your life. From a metaphysical perspective, every experience begins with the thought, and our experience changes when we change the thought. So, as we've mentioned time and time again, our thinking and the attention to our thoughts is the most important thing that we can do on this earth, among other things. And at any moment, if we experience or we go through something that we don't enjoy or that we don't like, we are able to redirect our thoughts and choose a different path to continue on that will internally manifest itself on some level or another. If you don't know what manifesting is, it's the ability, I call it alchemy. We all are alchemists. I am an alchemist. And an alchemist back in the old days was a person who was able to take a big pack of rocks or some rocks, a pile of rocks, and they were able to transform it into gold. And so now I believe that we're modern day alchemists, and that's defined as we are able to take our thoughts, which in the old times would be known as the rocks, and we are able to create gold. So then our reality is the gold, everything that we experience. And I really like the start of this book because what she's saying here, she's creating a very, very clear division between inner work and spiritual guidance and material abundance. And she's just coming out and saying it. Because a lot of people are like, oh, you're too materialistic. Oh, all you do is talk about money. Oh. But it's not about that because, pause, it is about that in one sense. But on the other sense, it's always coupled with the spiritual reliability. Thank you, Richard Seaman. The spiritual reliability that comes along with manifesting a material abundant life. Because if I'm here on earth, of course I want to drive the nicest cars. Of course I want to wear the nicest, the most comfortable clothes. Of course I want the best floors under my feet in my house. Of course I want the best. Why not? Why not? I work hard for it. You work hard for it. Why not? But on the flip side, not being disrupted and continuously being anchored in humility is the spiritual guidance and reliability part of it all. Okay. If we have a problem in any area, whether relationships, health, money, or anything else, the first place to look for a solution is in the nature of our thinking. This applies to money no more and no less than it applies to anything else. This book is a guide to spiritual principles that pave the way to material abundance. That one sentence right there explains what I just said. This book is a guide to spiritual principles that pave the way to material abundance. These principles are based on the Course in Miracles, right? Theory alone does not change our lives, but theory activated by mental shifts and behavioral follow-up execution becomes nothing short of miracle or miraculous help in even the most troubled times. I.e., you can never fail. We're pulling the veil back here on this book. Love is the all-encompassing reality of God and thus can have no opposite. The absence of love, which is fear, is mere illusion. Love is the only eternal truth, while fear is a hallucination of the mind. Throughout this book, the fear mind will be referred to as the ego. So our fear mind, the fear that we possess within us and that we think about, is going to be called the ego. Every thought is a cause that produces an effect. Something causes us to think the way that we do, And in result of that, there is an effect, there's a reality that is manifested from that thought. What you focus on expands. According to the Course in Miracles, every thought we think creates a form on some level. If your mind is in a loving place, if your thoughts are high, divine vibration, your experience will reflect that. If your mind is in a fearful place, if your thoughts are a lower, dense vibration, your experience will affect that. The man who says he can and the man who says he cannot are both right. Simple. And it all stems from thought. A miracle is a shift in perception from fear to love. So Marianne's going to start pulling theory and fact and truth, in my opinion, from A Course in Miracles, and she's going to apply some of that speech community into this book, and I can see that already. So we know that fear is identified as ego in the book. So when I say ego, we can correlate that with the idea of fear. And then a miracle is defined as a shift in perception from fear to love. And in the book, somewhere here, she says that's a miracle mindset. That's the mindset of a miracle worker. So we're known as miracle workers. The miracle worker does not look away from the illusions of the mortal world, but rather looks through them, thus invoking a world that lies beyond. This book is not about denying our economic problems. It's about transcending them. It's about realizing that illusions, no matter how entrenched they might be with the three-dimensional world, cannot stand in the presence of love. That's new to me. That's new to me to the standpoint of because of love, because we have love and we are based in love, nothing can transcend us bigger than that, right? No fear, no illusion, no hallucination, no nothing. I've always defined it, and I think it just goes hand in hand. But knowing that just coming back to this idea of love is very encouraging, because there's times in our lives, especially, I should say for me, there's times in my lives where you go through cycles where people disappoint you, even though you don't hold the expectation, and even if it's for a short little while, and you start to see how I'll leave that to the side for now. So, because that's something else I'm flushing through. So, okay, but this book talks about at the end of the day, come back to love, come back to what it means to define, come back to love, come back to the pure essence of who we are deep down inside, and no fear, no hallucination, no limitation can hold you back, and also know that you are all time powerful. Also know that God is in you, and because God is in you, and that little speck of dust of God that is in you, if you are able to tap into it, you are then able to create a world of total abundance. Through the authority of loving thought, we are given the power to turn any situation that is not love back into love, starting with thinking about it differently. When people say like super negative stuff, my ears hurt. Like my soul cringes. Like when it's pertaining to me in my reality, if I share a story and somebody's response is, ooh, oh man, why'd you do that? I'm like, yeah, we should probably stop this conversation. And I believe that's because I live a love-filled life. I live a love, thought-provoking life, and that's the place that I come from. And the benefit it's given me is I'm able to forgive a lot faster. I find myself not passing judgment as much as I probably once did in the past at one point or another. And I'm able to, find peace with self because I'm ultimately very much in love with myself. Which allows me to exude that to other people. With God's help, with God's help, our own particular worldly veil of illusion, which it takes the form of bankruptcy, recession, or any other fear, is lifted and we can see beyond it. No matter what our problem, or its form or size, an infinite field of miraculous possibility awaits our open-mindedness and love. Miracles occur naturally as an expression of love, according to the Course in Miracles. Now, I like this a lot. This is super powerful. So listen in on this one. Some people might read this book and say, oh yeah, well, what about the children in Africa? Are they poor because their consciousness is unaligned with love? I'd like to take this opportunity to respond to that. I love this tone. Starving children in Africa are not poor because their consciousness is unaligned with love. They're poor because ours is. 1 billion people on earth live in deep poverty. That is on less than $1.25 per day. To put things into perspective, a pack of gum here costs $1.29, depending on which kind you buy. I buy the Trident whitening gum. It actually really works. It's pretty good. Clue bomb of the day. But people in deep poverty around the world live on $1.25 a day. That's actually very encouraging to me. 1 billion more live on less than $2 a day. That's very interesting to me. So essentially, one second, let me do a calculation. For $365, or dang, that's inspiring. Jeez. $730 a year, you can help 1 billion people survive that who are in deep poverty per day. That is wild. Yet, this is not an exception to the rule that love casts out fear. Quite the opposite. It is the collective lovelessness on the part of the advanced nations of the world that allows us to accept the reality of deep poverty, thus deflecting the miraculous solution. When we collectively make love our bottom line, making humanitarian values rather than short-term economic, the organizing principle of human civilization, then the situation will indeed miraculously change. Check this out. According to the economist Jeffrey Sachs, $100 billion, one-seventh of the annual military defense budget of the United States, could eradicate deep poverty within 10 years. And then she gives her link. I can't not plug her for this. For those interested in creating the political will to end the worst ravages of hunger and poverty, visit www.results.org. May love prevail among us all. That's the preface of the book. Fire, huh? Okay, so last point, and then we'll be completed for the day. Or for the morning. Okay. And I have to point out here, real quick. So not only do we have the material life that we live, and then the other side is the spiritual life that we live. And then in my mind, you have the mindset. So there's three, right? We're like a big triangle. Imagine a little like base here. But we're like a triangle. And I believe, this is my own theory, that when we maximize our focus points on these things, the mindset, the spiritual, and the physical, that we are able to have very high peak performance states. When we focus our attention on the physical side of our life, we are able to maximize peak performance states. To be in a peak performance state, which is a theory or which was a concept that I learned from Relentless, which is a book we read in season 1. Tim Grover, it's fantastic. Go read it if you haven't already. It'll blow your mind. It blew my mind. To be in a peak high state is defined as like being in the zone. When you're in the zone, you're scoring 100 points in a basketball game. You're not missing any questions on an exam. All of your calculations for the entire day are all on point. You are in a state of perfection. You are in a state of undeniable focus that cannot be disrupted by any means or any stretch. I believe that we are able to maximize more of that space when we have intense focus, and we push ourselves in the space of spirituality, mindset, and physical activity, and physical shapeness and health. So that's one thing. So you have those two things, then you have my theory that's pushed on top of that. And then Marianne does a really good job, which is the author of this book, making the clear definition of the clear definition, defining clearly that we have our own collective consciousness. And this is interesting because this is how I've been feeling more so. We have our own consciousness. We have our own love, our own peace within us. And this is the life that we choose to live. So yes, on the surface, why can't I do have all of the nicest stuff, right? You do have all of the nicest stuff. Coming from the standpoint that we have to be grateful for everything we manifested up to this point. Now, could it be other things? Yes, because you can change your thoughts at any point in time. However, that is the surface impact of your direct life. And then your direct life ultimately will help in vibrating energies to other people. So when you have an abundance of peace, then you are now able to see other people and extend that same abundance of peace to them in however manner, whatever way that you choose seem fit. So that's the one side. But not having that at all could potentially challenge your perspective on how other people are living around the world, right? Making it a little bit more challenging to see what's going on just without, outside the boundaries of your personal space and who you are. So you have that side, personal. Then you have the collective consciousness, which is a book that, which is a concept and a word or a concept, collective consciousness, that I gathered from where collective consciousness was from, I believe, Think and Grow Rich, and which is a book that we read in season 1. And so you have the personal self-love, and then you have the collective love consciousness, is what I would call it. The collective love consciousness can help us eradicate deep poverty in nations all over the world. However, I have to identify this love consciousness first, and then I'm able to identify other people's love consciousness, and then together we are more powerful. Because yes, it would cost me $760, right, to feed 1 billion people. But then imagine you got 2, and now we start talking about compounding effect, and you have 3, you have 4, and you have 5, and you have 6, and you have 7. How many billions of people can we feed, who are in deep poverty, or even hundreds of thousands? And so she makes a clear distinguishing line between the personal love consciousness and the collective love consciousness. And so the goal for me is how do we grow the collective love consciousness to be, an influence or an effect, a positive love effect on other people all over the world. That's the question that I wish to answer and or continue to work toward. It's about spiritual zone. That has nothing to do with where we've been, how or whether we've been educated, or whether we've succeeded so far or have failed miserably. So where you come from and what you know has nothing to do with your ability to think and be about love. It's about the ultimate success and perfection of God, potential in all of us, whether made manifest or not, yet always available for full expression. God is within us, and if we tap into the little orbital of dust of Him inside of us, we are able to manifest the reality that is only imaginable. By aligning yourself with by aligning yourself with thoughts of infinite love for yourself and others, you gain dominion over lower thought forms of the world. This way is not a substitute for any worldly path to success, so much as an inner way that informs all others. It is a path to material abundance through immaterial means. Having the ability to think and know that you are a millionaire before, right? So immaterial means before your reality says that you are. So being able to think immaterial means and have material things show up. Alchemy. The ways of spirit are not the ways of sacrifice, but rather a way to opening yourself fully to the infinite glories of the universe. The glories are there. They merely await your acceptance. What follows is an explanation of what they are, how they operate, and how you can tap into them. Fire. This book is gonna be a good one. I can already tell. So with that being said, man, I'm super, super inspired right now. Well, I guess I'm inspired every day, but this is a good, gentle reminder, that everything that we study and everything that we practice is a truth for me that continues to show up over and over and over again. And so with that being said, just know that you are all powerful. We're going to get through this book, and it sounds like Marianne is going to start to explain like how to manifest this future, what perspective we should take on looking at the universe and looking at the abundance of power that God has given us and blessed us with in our lifetime, ultimately helping us create again a reality that is only imaginable by us, and end our own suffering, and then extending love to other people, ultimately making the world a better place. So with that being said, thank you everybody who joined me today. Thank you for everybody who joined me today on the journey to greatness. Day 30 of 365. And I don't know, do we have 31 days in November? Nope. Today is the last day of the month. So congratulations to everybody who made it through the first 30 days. It was a very successful venture. I feel like we're just getting started. Obviously, we have 11 months left. We're getting ready to turn into the new year. The holidays are here also. So I'm steady happy and steady excited. But with that, make sure you make today the best day of your life. Happy Friday, and I will see you tomorrow at 5 a.m. Peace.